It's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
And then now this whole P. Diddy thing.
Sometimes you have to tell Diddy no.
Oh, man, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged list of accomplishments to be revealed soon. The names will shock you, attorney says. Whoa.
I think he's going to sing, I think
he has to sing or he
Bro,
goes
also,
to
I'll
jail
tell
for
you
the
one
rest of
thing.
his life.
Well,
They told you the Diddy story was just another celebrity scandal, that it would blow over, that it was just noise, but they were wrong, because now the names are leaking, and they're not just any names. They're people you've watched on screen, danced to on playlists, and maybe even admired. Attorneys are whispering that Diddy is ready to sing, and if he does, the list of people going down with him might just detonate Hollywood from the inside out. What started as a lawsuit is spiraling into something darker, something that's pulling in actors, moguls, and music legends alike. From J-Lo's haunting past to Will Smith's bizarre denial and even Jay-Z's carefully polished silence, everyone's asking the same thing now. How deep does this go? And how many stars are just one whisper away from ruin? Because the courtroom isn't the only place where the truth is coming out. And once this door opens, there's no going back. If anyone was going to stir the pot, it was going to be Joe Rogan. Over the course of several podcast episodes, he started dropping names, casually, almost like he wasn't aware he was lighting a fuse. But make no mistake, people noticed. Joe didn't just mention Diddy, he hinted that the walls were closing in. And when Elon Musk joined him for a chat, the conversation took a strange turn. Out of nowhere, they brought up Jennifer Lopez. Why? Elon asked. Is she warning people about Trump now? But never said a word about Diddy back then. Why didn't she warn anyone about what was happening behind the scenes during her relationship with one of the most powerful men in the industry?
That
But I mean,
speech was terrible.
like if she's gonna be warning people, why did she never warn anyone about Diddy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so strange to watch play out.
Joe didn't have to say it outright. The implication was loud enough. J-Lo was there during Diddy's peak chaos era. She saw things. She stayed quiet. And people are wondering why. Because when someone that close walks away untouched, the silence doesn't feel like safety. It feels like complicity. And what came next? A flashback to a night in 1999 that could change everything. But that night was just the beginning. It was supposed to be just another glamorous night out. J-Lo and Diddy, the power couple of the moment, stepped into a Manhattan nightclub, cameras flashing, eyes watching. But what happened inside would shatter that illusion forever. Gunshots rang out. Chaos exploded. Someone was injured. Witnesses saw a gun tossed from a moving car. And that car? It was carrying Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs. The headlines the next morning were electric. J-Lo was arrested. Diddy was charged. But somehow only one of them walked away untouched. Jenny from the block didn't just walk. She ran. Charges against her were dropped. And she went on to defend Diddy publicly, swearing he had nothing to do with the violence.
Your car drove by, saw a female hand
Right.
throwing a gun out of the
Ridiculous.
car.
I don't even
You're the
wanna
only
address
female
it.
in the car. You don't want to talk about it?
Ridiculous.
You very confident that Puffy will be found innocent in this
Yes.
trial?
Yes, I will.
You going to testify?
If they need me.
But Shine, Diddy's young protege, wasn't so lucky. He took the fall, a decade behind bars. And now, in a shocking reversal, Shine is speaking out. He claims Diddy was guilty all along, that he lied, that he flipped, that he sent Shine to prison to protect himself.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
And where was J-Lo in all this? Still by Diddy's side, even after that night, still attending events, still playing the role of loyal partner, which raises the question, was she protecting an innocent man or helping cover for someone she knew was guilty?
Yeah, everybody else that's left her, oh, she was too this, she was this, she was that. But Diddy said she was perfect.
Maybe she was meant for a medal.
What happens if you're only perfect for the devil?
Because when you date the devil and call it love, the truth doesn't just go away. It waits. and it always comes back. And if you thought that was explosive, wait until you hear what came next from a man who swore he had nothing to do with any of this. You know something's off when a celebrity breaks their silence in the middle of a comedy set out of nowhere and with no one even asking. That's exactly what Will Smith did. Standing under the spotlight in San Diego, Will paused his routine and snapped. "I don't have shit to do with Puffy," he told the crowd. "No freak-offs. No nonsense. Y'all can stop all the memes." It was defensive, sudden, almost like he'd been holding it in for too long. Because let's be honest, if you're really not involved, why say anything at all? Especially when nobody even brought up your name that night. But the internet already had questions. Rumors had started swirling, connecting Will Smith to Diddy's infamous parties, speculations about freak-offs, secretive, disturbing gatherings where boundaries didn't exist had taken over Reddit and TikTok. And while Will adamantly denied any link, there was one thing he didn't address: his son. Jaden Smith, young, connected, and once a close friend of both Diddy and Justin Bieber, the kind of proximity that raises eyebrows when dark stories start to surface.
Yeah, no, we gonna pray for Mr. Gray, man. If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They're trying to sue him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
People aren't just questioning if Will attended those parties. They're wondering what Jaden may have seen, what he may have endured. And that silence is louder than any denial Will could shout on stage. But Will Smith isn't the only name being dragged into the shadows. Because the deeper this story gets, the more it pulls in names that once seemed untouchable. And one name, or rather two, are shaking the foundation of the industry itself. Jay-Z and Beyonce. And the accusations? They're beyond disturbing. Some names are so big, so powerful that they feel untouchable. Jay-Z and Beyonce have built empires, billion-dollar brands, a reputation polished to perfection. But that shine doesn't mean there's nothing hiding underneath. Jaguar Wright, once a rising neo-soul singer, now known for pulling no punches, blew the lid off during an interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored. What she said made the studio go cold. She didn't just call out Diddy, she dragged Jay-Z and Beyonce into the fire, accusing them of being monsters, with hundreds of victims allegedly ready to come forward.
Who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
Let that sink in. Hundreds. She claimed these victims had testimony not only against Jay-Z, but against Beyonce too. And when Jaguar started talking, Jay-Z's legal team moved fast. They contacted Piers Morgan directly. The message: take down the interview or face the consequences. And guess what? Piers folded. The clip was edited, the segment censored, and an on-air apology was issued to the Carters. But the damage was already done. If Jay-Z was so innocent, why the panic? Why not let the allegations blow over if they had no weight? This isn't about guilt by association anymore. It's about silence, threats, power, and a growing suspicion that maybe Diddy wasn't acting alone all these years. Jay-Z and Diddy weren't just peers. They were business partners, co-investors, and regular guests at the same exclusive no-cameras parties. Deals done in the dark, friendships forged in silence. And while Beyonce remains out of the spotlight on this one, her name being dropped at all suggests that the roots of this story run deeper than anyone thought. But the next name? That one shocked everyone, because no one expected to hear Cuba Gooding Jr. in this mess. Of all the names swirling around this storm, Cuba Gooding Jr. was the last one people expected, an Oscar winner, a familiar face. But according to Diddy's former producer, Lil Rod, Cuba wasn't just around, he was in it.
Cuban Gooding Jr. was so close to that man. I would thought that was his lady.
Rod claims it all went down on a yacht in January 2023. He says Diddy introduced him to Cuba not as a guest, but like an appetizer, his exact words. Diddy was serving him up like an hors d'oeuvre.
How do you fully escape it though? Like your name, for example, was mentioned in the Diddy case.
Which was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Because you barely know
This is the
right?
most ridiculous thing ever. But again, welcome to being a celebrity. Welcome to my work.
What followed here, according to the lawsuit, was terrifying. Cuba allegedly groped Lil Rod without consent, put a hand on his thigh, tried to press himself in closer. Rod says he rejected him multiple times, but Cuba wouldn't stop. Shaking, furious, humiliated. That's how Rod says he walked away from that encounter. Cuba's response, swift denial. He claimed he barely knew Diddy, was only on the yacht for a short time, and dismissed the entire thing as a money grab. Nothing more than someone trying to hitch a ride on the chaos. But let's be real. People don't end up on Diddy's yacht by accident. They don't get named in federal lawsuits because of a 10-minute hello. And Cuba Gooding Jr. already has a record of legal trouble when it comes to allegations like this. Now, the public's left wondering, was this a one-time mistake or part of a much darker pattern? Because as this web unravels, the names keep getting more unexpected. And the stories? They're getting more dangerous. And the next name is someone who wasn't just close to Diddy, he lived under the same roof. Some people were just industry associates. Stevie J wasn't one of them. He wasn't just in the studio with Diddy, he was in the house. Before the reality TV fame, before Love and Hip Hop, Stevie J was a Grammy-winning producer and a core member of Diddy's elite hitmen production team. They made hits, built a bad boy empire together, and during the peak of that wild, chaotic era, Stevie J reportedly lived with Diddy. Let that sink in. He was there, in the house, behind the scenes, which means if the rumors about what went down behind closed doors are true, Stevie either saw it, helped cover it, or turned a blind eye. But here's where it gets weirder. Stevie J isn't defending Diddy. He's not speaking out. He's just silent, strategic, like he knows it's safer to say nothing. The energy? Pure, I plead the fifth. And that silence is painting a massive target on his back, especially when you factor in his own long list of issues. Lawsuits, child support drama, substance abuse rumors. He's got baggage, and now people are asking if he's hiding even more. He hasn't been charged with anything yet. But in a case where proximity is everything, Stevie J is dangerously close to ground zero. And if Diddy goes down and starts talking to save himself, Stevie might be one of the first names to surface. Because the people closest to the fire are always the ones who get burned first. And now, this case is finally heading to trial. This isn't just social media noise anymore. It's not rumors or blind speculation. This case is going to trial, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Jury selection is already underway. And the kind of juror they're looking for? Not your average music fan. Not someone dazzled by fame. They want people with strong stomachs and stronger minds. Because what they'll be shown is horrifying. We're talking graphic evidence, uncomfortable, explicit footage, the infamous Cassie Hotel video, testimonies that go beyond salacious into full psychological warfare. Some jurors admitted they've already seen leaked clips online. Others had past trauma from domestic violence, and those personal histories, they're being weighed carefully because this trial needs people who can stay objective even when the details are beyond disturbing. And it's not just about what happened. It's about how it happened, who knew, who covered, and who watched silently from the sidelines. Diddy's fame won't protect him here. You don't get to hide behind Billboard hits or music legacies in federal court. The prosecution's message is clear. This is about accountability, not popularity. On the ideal juror, late 30s to early 50s, old enough to remember Diddy's rise, young enough to understand TikTok leaks and Reddit rabbit holes. People who've seen stars rise and crash and know how fast the public turns. And if the court has its way, no one walks away from this trial untouched. Because when the music stops, only the truth remains. From podcast whispers to courtroom thunder, the Diddy scandal has become something no one can ignore. What began as quiet allegations has turned into a reckoning that's pulling powerful people out of their comfort zones and dragging them straight into the spotlight. Joe Rogan opened the floodgates. J-Lo's 1999 secrets came flooding back. Will Smith lashed out mid-show. Jay-Z's lawyer scrambled. Cuba Gooding Jr. got name-dropped. And Stevie J? He's playing the quiet game, but the silence is starting to scream. Now, as jury selection tightens and the prosecution stacks its case, everyone's watching, waiting, guessing who might be next. Because this isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about a culture of silence, about how far people will go to protect their brand and what they'll risk to stay in the shadows. Hollywood has always had its secrets, but what we're seeing now isn't just scandal, it's exposure. One leak at a time, one witness at a time, and with each new name added to the list, it gets harder for the rest to hide. So here's the question. If Diddy really does sing, who's ready to hear the full song? And who's praying he stays silent? Because this isn't over, not even close.